being able to hear me, because I couldn't hear anything before, kind of wave and remind me to shout into the microphone. We're getting set up over here. I've got a presentation. I wanted to show you a couple of visuals. My name is Chad Hensler. I'm with the Consulate General of Canada. I'm based out of Mumbai. I've been there for about 2 years now. It's a pleasure to be here today. I want to talk to you about why Canada, and it's what I started talking about earlier in the other room, why Canada is a good partner for startups and what we have to offer. I'm going to make that argument and explain, talking about the amazing support ecosystem that we have for startups, our low business costs, our access to talent, our access to markets, I think that's very important, and quality of life. And I'm going to end it by talking about the startup visa program. I think that that's relevant for everybody in the room. I'm also going to try not to be too boring, but you know, you never know. I'm a government official. I can't help it sometimes. Give me 1 second here. We'll get a presentation up and see where we end up. Okay, here we go. I wanted to talk about ecosystems and why Canada has something to offer for everybody. A good example of doing that is with artificial intelligence. I need to take you back to the 1990s. 20 years ago, if anybody talked about artificial intelligence, it was as science fiction. This is something that nobody thought would ever be possible, and you would only see in television. You have to imagine this gentleman on the right, Geoffrey Hinton, who, picture him as a 20-something-year-old who wanted to study artificial intelligence and neural networks. He ended up in Canada because a Canadian government organization was willing to fund his research. He ended up at the University of Toronto, and he's now known as one of the godfathers of artificial intelligence. If you've heard of neural networks, that was his research. Yoshua Bengio, the gentleman in the center, is in Montreal. He runs the Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithms. There are now over 9,000 students in Montreal studying artificial intelligence and machine learning and related fields. Montreal has one of the largest in the world deep learning labs. The gentleman on the left, your right, Richard Sutton. He literally wrote the book on reinforcement learning. He's the most cited researcher in the world when it comes to reinforcement learning. His university, the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, it ranks number 2 in artificial intelligence and machine learning combined programs. The highest concentration outside of Silicon Valley for AI and machine learning researchers, PhDs in that area, it's in Canada. What that looks like today is these 3 gentlemen, these 3 scientists, built an ecosystem that looks like this. This is a graphic that shows how that Canadian ecosystem works. It has the 4 main cities of artificial intelligence research, and you can tell just by the density of this how intense it is. So we're picking one area, one cutting edge area, and looking at what that ecosystem looks like in Canada. If you look over at the global players, Google, Amazon, Facebook, all of those players have their primary research labs in Canada. Paytm, we all know Paytm. Paytm set up their a research lab for artificial intelligence and security outside of Toronto. Paytm Labs is located in Toronto. So this ecosystem is absolutely amazing. This is just artificial intelligence. The highest concentration of artificial intelligence startups in the world are in Toronto. Not Silicon Valley, not London. The highest concentration are in Toronto. The new Gmail, I don't know if you're using the Gmail, new version of Gmail. It was actually built in a small town outside of Toronto called Cambridge, Ontario, Kitchener, Ontario. So that's where companies are going for talent. That's the ecosystem that Canada has to offer. If we jump to the next slide, we're committed to being leaders in IT and software, and we're doing everything we can to meet that obligation. The talent created to nurture and support businesses in the areas I've spoken about, it comes down to, on this graph, this is labor quality. And labor quality was defined for this purpose as the number of individuals in that area who graduated from one of the top 25 computer science programs in the world. Where are they living and where are they working? If you could see, obviously everybody's in the San Francisco area, the Bay Area, or working for Microsoft in Seattle. Okay. If you look at the next little bit over, though, thanks for coming up front. If you look at the next little bit over, though, you've got great cities like Boston, and directly below it, Toronto and Vancouver. Vertically is the price of hiring those people. So if you're looking at finding talent for your company, for your business, know that top quality talent, top quality people to work with in that amazing ecosystem, they're available in Canada, they want to work with you, and your overall cost of doing business is going to be much lower than it is pretty much anywhere else in the US for that level of talent. Openness to markets is another big thing. We jump to the next slide. Canada has just renewed, with much publicity, a trade agreement with the United States. We also have signed on to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and we have a free trade agreement with the European Union. What that means is we have access, preferential access, duty-free, tariff-free access to half of the world's GDP, over half. Equally, Indian companies choose all the time to serve North America, to serve all of the US from Canada. You can be in the same time zone, you can be a short flight away, and if you look at this little picture on the bottom of the US, it actually shows where Canada is the #1 trading partner of that state. Those dark blue states are all Canada's their #1 trading partner, and the light blue is the #2 trading partner. So clearly Americans, if you're looking to serve American clients or North American clients, you can do it from Canada. We have some of the lowest costs, the lowest taxes, and one of the strongest economies in the G7. So all that to say, Canada is a gateway. We provide access to markets around the world, but especially in North America. The next thing is Canada is open access to quality of life. By pretty much every measure, Canadian cities are at the top of indexes for quality of life. Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, if you look at these cities and Google quality of life, they come out at the top. We're also committed to democracy, security, multiculturalism, diversity, and equality of opportunity. Those aren't just things that we say, that's actually what we believe in and we try to make happen. Since I'm here in Gujarat, there's about 1.3 million Canadians who trace their roots back to India. That is, they're Indo-Canadians, or they immigrated, or their parents or grandparents or so on had come from India. 1.3 million. Doesn't sound like a lot in this room, I know, but we're only a country of 35 million. So of 35 million, 1.3 million trace their roots back to India. Of that, about 300,000 are from Gujarat. And so it's not uncommon to really encounter great people doing great things from all over the world, India included. We're open to people, and that comes through in our startup visa program. This is what a lot of people want to hear about. In short, it provides permanent residency, i.e. the Canadian version of a green card, to foreign entrepreneurs who have the skills to build innovative businesses in Canada. Those businesses, they have to be able to compete, they have to be legitimate businesses that are really able to scale and meet demands. But we're open to entrepreneurs from all around the world who want to access our country. We're open to foreign entrepreneurs, And the way the system works is you get the support of a private sector organization. And one of those organizations are one of three things. It's either acceptance into an incubator program or an accelerator program that says, yes, you've got a great idea, we want you. It is an investment from an angel investor in Canada who says, yes, that business idea is a good one. That entrepreneur is the leader that I want to be running my company in my portfolio, and I'm willing to make the investment. Or you get an investment from a venture capital organization. Same thing. If they're identifying you and your company as having high potential for success in North America, we're happy to have you. So this is the way the Startup Visa program works. There are, at last count, 26 designated incubators or accelerators, one of which actually is your next speaker, who I'm going to turn it over to in a minute, is Mr. Ray Walia. Ray is the CEO of one of those organizations. The organization is called Launch Academy. He's going to be talking to you just briefly. I also want to say there's a lot that can be done outside of the Startup Visa program. If you are serious about business, Startup Visa is one option to you. But my message is, in leaving, and I'm happy to discuss this with you after, the key takeaway is your business has to come first. It has to be about what your business is, your idea, and how you're going to execute on it. If you've got a great plan and a great idea, and you're able to make that scale, and you're looking to help make it scale, then the Startup Visa is one option for you. Equally, though, if you're at the stage or a more mature company where you're ready to actually just expand, you need a sales channel or you need something else in North America, you need people on the ground close to where your customers are. For Indian companies, that's huge, right? Is being that much closer to your customers. We have other programs outside of the Startup Visa program that might be more applicable to you. So Startup Visa in India right now is really sexy. People want to hear about